CNN News.
Another show on this night's lineup. We have another episode of NYPD Blue. What color blue? Israeli blue.
Israeli blue.
Yay. Yeah. So, Collin, we've talked about this plenty of times before about how your policing goes and learns their fucking techniques over in Israel. So let's see if they're willing to do that again. Well, guess what? They already did. So this is September 12th, 2025. New York State sends police chiefs to Israel for counterterrorism training. Well, more than a dozen police officers from the state of New York are on a training trip to Israel, despite human rights experts saying that Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza. Police officers have already been accused of being heavy-handed against pro-Palestinian protesters, both on student campuses in the state and in New York City. And the 13 officials are said to be learning about security issues facing Israel, undertaking counterterrorism training to protect Jewish communities, and learning about anti-Semitism. Okay? I don't know why New York needs to know that, but the training comes the same week Israel launched unprovoked airstrikes on the sovereign territory of Qatar on Tuesday. Don't let people distract you about that shit. In violation of international law, killing 5 Palestinians and 1 Qatari. Israel then killed 46 people and wounded 165 people in ongoing exchange of strikes on Wednesday in Yemen, where they killed the fucking prime minister. Like, they assassinated another fucking world leader. People forgot about that shit, though, huh? According to a report in JNS, Israel's Ministry for Diaspora Affairs have been running the government training program for U.S. law enforcement officials for 6 years and has been dubbed Birthright for American Police Chiefs. Because apparently fucking all cops are Zionists somehow that have a birthright.
Oh,
okay.
I guess.
In reference to free trips to Israel offered to young Jews who live outside of Israel. Yay. We're going to go live on a fucking kibbutz. Good for them. Fucking dickheads. Visiting New York law enforcement officials study Israeli counterterrorism initiatives. So this was on September 12th. Man, I wonder why no one saw this shit fucking happen. All right. Delegation of 13 New York law enforcement officials is visiting Israel this week to get hands-on view of the security issues facing the Jewish state and learn about fighting anti-Semitism. The Israeli government program for international law enforcement officials, which was initiated 6 years ago by the Ministry for Diaspora Affairs, comes at a time of surging anti-Semitism around the world, including in the United States, following the Hamas-led attack on southern Israel. That triggered their 2-year-old war in Gaza. You mean the genocide? If you fuck you, JNS. Since its inception, there have been 15 such delegations of law enforcement officials from around the world, about 1/3 of them from the U.S., said Moshe Ellert, CEO of IMI, which is subcontracted to run the event. The program for the Israeli military industries, not like the Israeli law enforcement, militarized police, military. Thank you. So the program for the U.S. law enforcement officials, which has worked in tandem with American Jewish security officials in their communities over the last 7 years, has been dubbed Birthright for American Police Chiefs. So, yeah. Same fucking shit. So, the training session is reportedly the second since the war in Gaza began in October. Michael Copey, Commissioner of Public Safety for Rye in Westchester County, told JNS the resilience of the Israeli people just stands out. Okay. Sure. The U.S. police trainers have been trained by their counterparts in Israel for more than 2 decades. Thousands of officers have learned crowd control, use of force, and surveillance from Israeli police, military, and intelligence services, according to the article by Amnesty International. The article said that while pro-Israeli groups privately fund some of these trips, most of these trips are taxpayer funded. So fucking nice of you paying for those vacations. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? In 2016, the Department of Justice published a report which found that the Baltimore Police Department makes stops, searches, and arrests without the required justification, uses enforcement strategies that unlawfully subject African Americans to a disproportionate rate of stops, searches, and arrests, uses excessive force, and retaliates against individuals for their constitutionally protected expression. So, in case you've had run-ins with Baltimore police officers, now you know where they're getting it from. Critics of Israeli military training program have said it exacerbates American police brutality. Increases racial profiling of brown and black people. Represses social justice movements and contributes to the proliferation of surveillance and a police state. Human rights experts say the Israeli military teaches American police officers potentially illegal and unconstitutional policing tactics for training its officers. The practices of draconian policing were seen in the killing of unarmed black civilian George Floyd by white Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who asphyxiated Floyd by putting his knee on Floyd's neck for 8 minutes. The killing, which was caught on camera, sparked national and international outcry and protests. Activists point out that more than 100 Minneapolis Police Department officials were tactically trained on using one's knee to restrain civilians at a counterterrorism event at the Israeli consulate in Chicago in 2012, which is led by the Israeli military and police. So, we talked about this ad nauseum, but any thoughts? You're like, yep.
Fuck the popo.
Exactly, coming straight from the underground. But I have this little video put up by If Americans Knew. It is not the song by NWA, but we'll see what they have to say. Here we go.
In recent years, residents of America's most heavily policed neighborhoods have described their local police as an occupying force. Considering where many U.S. police forces get their training, the description is apt. Thousands of American law enforcement officers frequently train with one of the few countries where policing and militarism are even more deeply intertwined than they are here: Israel. Founded amid a campaign of ethnic cleansing in 1948, Israel then seized the West Bank and Gaza in 1967 and has since maintained an oppressive military occupation. After 9/11, Israel seized on its decades-long experience as an occupying force to brand itself as a world leader in the security and surveillance industry. Since 2002, the Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Committee's Project Interchange, and the Jewish...
Who's that motherfucker? You catch that guy? This guy right there? This dude? We know that guy. Fucking California? I think that's fucking... What's his name? Anyway.
And the Jewish Institute for National Security Affairs.
One of the mayors over there, I
closely
think.
associated with AIPAC, the Israel lobby, have paid for U.S. police to train in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories with the Jewish state's security forces. Now, the training of U.S. police by Israeli forces is widespread, and many of these trips are taxpayer-funded. On these trips, U.S. police are exposed to military policing that happens in a non-democratic context, such as border control, checkpoints, and policing of Palestinians in the occupied territories, essentially taking lessons to enforce military rule rather than civil law. The problem with this mingling of domestic policing with military operations is that the two institutions have starkly different missions. U.S. police officers are charged with keeping the peace and protecting the constitutional rights of American citizens and residents. Soldiers are trained to annihilate the enemy.
I mean, this look familiar?
Yep.
Like... No, I don't... So... I don't get what control this gives you. The neon neck? I've never understood this. Like, it's only useful if you have like 3 other dudes holding a person. you know? And then really it's for intimidation. Like, that's what it's for. You know? It just turns out it can also help you kill somebody with the fucking right circumstances. So, you know, it just literally gives you zero control at all, which if that's what you're wanting, that's what they pretend this is, you know? Anyway, so I also wanted to point this out. So this is from Dave DeCamp, right? And he writes about this. So Ben Gavir said on Monday, right, at some event with police officers, I'm betting it's the same fucking event that NYPD was at. I'm betting, right? So he said that he wanted to build a luxurious neighborhood for Israeli police on the ruins of Gaza, and repeated he calls for the settlement of Jews and the expulsion of Palestinians. So we will finish the mission, occupy Gaza, blah, blah, blah. He told a cheering crowd at the National Police Academy in Bet Shemesh, Israel. He said that once the occupation is complete, he wants to establish a neighborhood of police officers, otherwise known as a cop city, on Gaza's coast, which he said would include high-rise buildings. The time has come to settle Jewish settlement. The time has come to encourage voluntary immigration of Gazans. The time has come to bring the death penalty for terrorists, Ben Gavir added. So, you know, if you went on your birthright trip as a police officer and, you know, all this shit goes down, maybe there's free real estate for you in Israel if you know, just accept Judaism into your heart. So,
right.
Great stuff. Fucking terrorist organizations, including the police. But anyway, anything to close us out on? Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. You know?
Basic.
Oh, fuck, dude. Just, isn't it wild?
We're done.
We're fucking done. We're done. Well, as always, talking about these things is why YouTube demonetized us. So you go to ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, scan the QR code on your screen, or link is in the description below. But otherwise, if you're one of the poors like ourselves, just like and subscribe, share the video, send it to your like-minded friends, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this police training. Otherwise, thanks for watching.